Generally speaking, women have developed psychologically, emotionally, and relationally faster than men. And after 100 years of feminism, they're now holding up the mirror more intensely and collectively than ever before, and men are responding in three main ways. The first way is the armored man, who refuses the mirror altogether, tries to break it, and blames women for daring to hold it up to them. Men of this type are banding together and barricading themselves behind what appears to many as an inflated, paper-thin persona that refuses self-examination, but to them is a necessary defensive psychological bunker designed to protect their egos from confronting unexamined shadow before they're ready. And yes, that process is taking longer and creating more collateral damage than many of us are comfortable with. But apparently that's the catch-22 of our time. Say nothing and you enable the pathology, but call it out and you risk triggering the very conflicts you're trying to avoid. Which is why in many cases, the real answer lies in the women that these men court and who court them. Generally speaking, women attracted to armored men carry wounds from absent and abusive fathers that include boundary violations, compromised self-respect, and abandonment, which is precisely why they are drawn to men who tend to repeat those patterns with them. Because the primary way the psyche makes an unconscious wound conscious is through reenactment. For these women, reenactment of the wound usually involves them feeling used, disrespected, and abandoned all over again. Whereas for the men, reenactment usually comes when they cross one too many boundaries and suddenly find themselves met with shame, humiliation, disempowerment, and ultimately exile, which is why it can be so valuable to consider such patterns before they happen. Redemption, on the other hand, for the women, usually begins when they start saying no and drawing a line in the sand that says, treat me with respect or I'm out. For the men, redemption usually only ever takes place when life humbles them or she does, when their orientation of domination and control just stops working, and they're forced to begin facing and feeling the wounds beneath the mask, the shadow that they've outrun for years, and the pain that has been unconsciously shaping their lives all along. The second type of man is the accommodator, who also struggles with insecurity, but who compensates for it in the opposite direction. Instead of being rigid, power-hungry, and overconfident like the armored man, the accommodating man is excessively appeasing, apologetic, conflict avoidant, and submissive. He struggles to hold his ground, say no, stand firm, and hold a woman accountable when she crosses his boundaries. Whereas the armored man is inflated and always trying to consolidate power, the accommodator is deflated and on a journey of reclaiming power, but in a healthy way. Accordingly, accommodators almost always pair with women who are strong, assertive, and often emotionally dominant, because that's precisely what they need to spar with in order to grow. However, if the pattern remains unconscious, then re-traumatization for him will look like chronic castration, and for her, the burden of always having to wear the pants. Because even though it's his sensitivity and boundless ability to attune that attracted her to him in the first place, if it isn't mediated by a strong masculine backbone, it will often lead to her feeling resentful because she never truly feels safe enough to let her guard down, allow him to take the reins, and soften enough to downregulate that nervous system and heal the wounds within herself. While the armored man is evolving towards humility, emotional literacy, and relational respect, the accommodator is learning how to hold accountability without exploding, how to withstand a woman's displeasure without caving, and how to hold her in a way that feels safe and secure enough for her to let go completely. Redemption for her involves collaborating with him in this, supporting his voice, softening her defenses, trusting that she does not always have to lead and can take accountability when she's wrong without fear of having that very vulnerability weaponized against her at a later date. Finally, the third category, the integrated man, who's been doing the work alongside women all along. These men can listen without losing themselves, lead without dominating, follow when a woman knows better. These are men who can receive feedback without becoming defensive, who can hold boundaries without punishing, who enjoy collaborating with strong, capable women without secretly resenting them, and above all, who love being challenged respectfully by them because they know that it's one of the surest ways to sharpen their blade. But the real secret of the integrated man is that he was once an armored or accommodating man. But he went on a journey, and usually with a woman by his side who saw his potential and was willing to teach him and be taught by him as true sparring partners in life, helping each other to heal old wounds and hone emerging skills, all for the purpose of reaching their fullest potential together. So while some men are shattering the mirror in anger, and some are cowering before it in fear or shame, both are nonetheless on a journey of turning towards it and facing it. If not in this lifetime, well, then the next. And in doing so, recognizing that women have initiated this cultural moment, just as Eve did when she took that first bite of the apple and then turned to Adam and said, "Now you."